he'll stop calling people
are
names.
those voters, sir? Who are those voters?
What does his strategy need to be tonight to win over those undecided voters?
Well, I think when he talks about these winning policies, he's very strong. He's got a ton of credibility. He's actually been the commander-in-chief. He's made those decisions, and he's made great decisions as a commander-in-chief. The world was at peace when he was in office. He was smart about how he did his trade policies. He helped create fair and free trade around the world. He kept inflation down while we did it. So as a business guy who's created jobs, worked in the private sector, surrounded himself by other people with that common sense private sector experience, I think you're going to see that. Only this time I know that if elected, the president gets to appoint 4,000 people. The group of people that President Trump will bring in that have got common sense, small business, real business, job creating experience, entrepreneurs, that's a very different set than what you see right now. I mean, with the Biden-Harris current team, 60% of them have never worked a day in the private sector, and that's why myself, as someone who spent my life in the private sector before I became governor, it's terrifying to me the amount of regulation and red tape that the Biden-Harris administration has tried to push. Not laws, but executive orders and agencies making rules that they try to enforce as laws, which I think are completely overreached by the federal government. We're pushing back in North Dakota on 30 different fronts on a number of these areas, and I think, again, very clear choice for Americans on whether we want to have a republic where 50 states can innovate, or whether we're going to have a large federal government that borrows and taxes and spends and subsidizes and tries to take away power from the people and from the states.
Do you think President Trump will stop? Do you think President Trump will stop calling people names?
What would you like to see tonight?
Well, I think we'd like to see the ABC moderators. They've got a responsibility to the American people, and part of their responsibility is to actually ask Vice President Harris real questions and tough questions. This is historic. She's a historic candidate, but for a different reason. She's historic because she's 55 days away from the election, and she's done one short interview and has never done a debate, and this may be the only one. And so I think America's going to be outraged if we find out a few hours from tonight that she got through a debate and nobody asked her tough questions about her past positions, or why her anonymous aides are saying no, she doesn't believe this anymore on issues that are critical, whether it's energy policy, the border, whether fentanyl should be legal. It's not just about the plastic straws that she supported. I mean, she needs to be asked tough questions tonight, and I think that's one of the things that I'm going to be looking for. And if the moderators don't come through, then we can throw the whole debate out, because it was a 3-on-1 tilted playing field from the start.
Behind you right here. That was Stephanie.
Well, I'm not sure if she's changed or not, because I haven't heard her say those words. I've heard anonymous staff members say that she's changed those words, and of course she's playing for votes in an energy state like here, but I'm not sure that she understands what it is. I mean, she's made comments about it in the past, describing it as a dangerous process, when in fact it's part of the technology which has created the shale revolution, which has lifted up the economy of ourselves and all of our allies. It's the thing that if we keep pursuing that advances in technology around energy reduction, the U.S. produces energy cleaner, safer, and smarter than anywhere else in the world. If someone actually cared about the environment, you would want to have all the energy produced here, and then we would sell it to our allies. Instead, Biden-Harris shutting down natural gas export permitting processes. I mean, it's a legal business to build an export facility. You get a permit, you're a private sector business. By executive order, they say, no, you can't do that. You know who is celebrating? The Kremlin was celebrating. People in Qatar were celebrating, because they're saying, wow, great, I guess the U.S. wants us to be able to sell energy to Iran, and Iran itself becoming, again, getting their exports up in a huge way, in Russia. So now where are we now? Now we're fighting two proxy wars, one against Russia and one against Iran. Both of those wars are being financed by the Biden-Harris energy policies, which are attacking U.S. energy and supporting foreign providers. So I think it's completely upside down. It's hurting American citizens in terms of inflation, and that's what I think her energy policy is. And one anonymous staff person saying, oh no, she doesn't think that anymore, that's not proof to me. I think President Trump's been very clear. He understands how energy prices drive inflation, and he wants to get energy prices prices down for all Americans. He understands that energy is a component in every product, not just the gas you put in your car or your electrical bill. And he also understands that strategically wars are fought over energy policy, and he knows that one of the ways we bring peace in the world, stop our adversaries, is to make sure we've got a strong U.S. energy.
Governor,
what
Diana,
is
we'll
your
go over right here. Diana, and then we'll go to Jill.
Hi, Governor.
Hi, Dana.
Just a couple questions. One, what's the number one question you hope to hear tonight? And have you had recent conversations with Trump about how you'll serve him in the White House?
Well, I'll take the second one first. I've had recent conversation with the president, but not about any jobs, whatever. This is about getting President Trump elected. For myself, it's never been about a job that comes after this. I love the job I'm doing. I got lots of options to go back to the private sector. This is how important it is for him and the policies and the people that he would bring with him to be leading our country forward in a way where we've got, again, prosperity at home and peace abroad. But as far as the question for tonight, as I said, I think what I'm really looking for is the questions, is Vice President Harris going to be asked the tough questions about her positions? And she didn't have a policy on her website till a couple days ago, and then her policies were there, cut and pasted from the Biden administration. There's questions about statements she's made in the past about her work experience. There's questions about things that she did as a DA and as an Attorney General, I think, and legislation she sponsored with Bernie Sanders as a senator just a few years ago. I mean, I think when she says her values haven't changed, I think that tells me that she's a dangerously progressive liberal from California, and people should understand that when they're voting, that's a direction. She loved it when she was there. She supported it. Is that a direction she wants to take the country? Because last time I checked, California's losing population, one of the states where people are leaving, voting with their feet, because they want to get to places that have got less regulation, where you can buy a gas-powered car, where you're not told, whether you can have a gas stove or not. And so again, I think that most Americans would say, no, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for, for something else, which is again, freedom, prosperity, less regulation, lower taxes. Those are the states that are growing right now.
AP, Jill Cole.
Okay, thank you so much, Governor. In terms of temperament, are you worried at all about the former president coming across too aggressively tonight, especially as he's on stage with a woman?
Well, I think this is the question that's been asked a number of times, but I think there's a risk both ways. I think depending on the tenor of how people are interacting with each other, that either one of them could be viewed as being too aggressive. You got a former prosecutor, that is, prosecutors spend a lot of time rehearsing their closing arguments. They memorize them. They memorize their attack lines. If that's what the preparation is, and President Trump, I mean, his demeanor, you saw him with President Biden. I mean, he won that debate, by being very calm and very measured during the whole thing. So I think you're going to see, President Trump is going to come out. He's going to make a decision. He's going to sort of read the room, if you will, and see what he's up against, and I think he'll go from there. But I think it's a risk. It's a risk for both of them. For some voters that may think that, other people would say, great. Some people don't want to see a presidential debate. They want to see. They want to see a debate. To debate to them means real interaction, going back and forth. So viewers view different things, and of course, as you all know, coming out the backside, it's those viral moments that'll shape people's opinions of which way the debate went.
And what would you like to see? What would you like to see? An aggressive Trump or a more calm Trump?
Well, I think what I want to see is America to get to know the President Trump that I know versus all these falsehoods that are told him. This is someone who cares about the people that work for him, whether it's a frontline worker at one of his hotels or whether it's a construction worker, on one of his job sites. This is a guy who cares about his family, his kids, and his grandkids. Anybody that spends time with him and then watches the caricature of what people talk about on the news goes, every day there's reports about him that do not match the person that he is. And I think again, my wish is that Americans would get to see him as the person that he is, and I think that if they did that, they would understand that anybody who works for a living in this country and gets a paycheck, doesn't matter what your party beliefs are, if you work and you get a paycheck, you should say that's the guy that actually cares about me and is trying to move this country forward to help me and my family.